What's up, guys? It's Hegi again, and here's yet another update on the crit HegemOM Freeze Pulse Witch. As you notice, I have a couple of buffs going on. We have Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice, Arctic Armor, Purity of the Elements, and Summon Chaos Golem. And you can see my charge generation is very good, and my charge duration is at 20 seconds. I'm building up charges through an elixir called Dodri's Elixir. One of every charge. In exchange, when I use this flask, I lose a bit of energy shield and life. 10% of my life taken as chaos damage. It is worth noting, if you have negative chaos resist, it's going to take more than 10% of your current HP. Let's put up this purity. I've reserved all my mana to run all these buffs. In order to run the purity, you need to pick up charisma. If you want to just go a 50% aura, 2 heralds, or a herald and arctic armor, you can't do that, and you won't need charisma. Another benefit of using charisma is the possibility of running an alpha sal, getting additional 8%, and running grace. That would be much more preferable, but I need the resistances at the moment, seeing as I'm about 61 to 68 for each elemental resistance. In a way, you can kind of see my purity of elements as a chaos resist aura. Because this gives me so much elemental resistance, I don't have to worry so much about the suffixes that land on my gear. As you can see, we have a suffix that I don't have on this because I would have to exalt it and get lucky. We don't have any resist on Restless Ward, Face Breakers, or at Series Step. And these are all unique choices that help me polish this build. I can get resistances from my rings, my amulet, which has none, my belt, possibly my weapon, but not ideally my weapon, and then my shield. So let's go over. I picked the Deicide Mask because 30% of my current health pool should, that should be the minimum amount of ES that you have, because at that point the one shot doesn't matter if you're a hybrid or mind over matter. So with the extra stat allocation, I'm going to go the evasion route. We will get evasion nodes on the right side of the tree. This life wheel over here, Revenge of the Hunted, will probably pick up all that. We have another jewel to pick up right here. And it is possible that we could go into some ranger life and evasion nodes. We would have to pick up stun recovery and finesse. Is that worth it? I'm not so sure. I mean, we'll be flexible for now. We have this jewel socket right here. I decided to go against arcane potency. This doesn't seem too efficient considering it takes 2 travel nodes. So in exchange, I am going this route to pick up the jewel socket here and jewel socket here. We have a jewel here, which is, we're using Chill of Corruption because it just feeds so many extra souls to my Vol Stormcall, which is layered with Innervate. Innervate gives you Onslaught. Onslaught gives you movement speed, attack speed, and cast speed when I use this. It's very cool. I also run Vol Grace for those situations where I need to be extra tanky. Vol Grace is layered with increased duration. In addition, I use Enduring Cry because Enduring Cry gives me 356 life regeneration per second for 0.75 seconds. But if we look at the tooltip, it lasts 1.27. So in a way, this restores my energy shield because I have a keystone over here on the left side of the tree. It's called Zealot's Oath. This allows me to have a steady flow of, a burst flow of energy shield when my energy shield starts to deplete itself, because I have Mind Over Matter. Now the way Mind Over Matter and Eldritch Battery works, it takes it out of my energy shield before it takes it out of my mana. Considering I only have 21 mana, it's pretty irrelevant, but the energy shield chunks are very nice. I do have a static amount of life regeneration thanks to endurance charges. So if you look right now passively, I'm at 70.3 energy shield per second. That's mainly due to the fact that I have Sanctity, which gives me 1% life regen here. I have Quick Recovery, 0.8, and I also have Heart of Oak, which is 1. So I almost have 3% on the tree. So as my ES gets higher, my life regeneration converts to ES regeneration, and it'll get higher and higher and higher. In addition, for every endurance charge that I have, I get 19.6 life regeneration per endurance charge. So I have multiple ways of generating all kinds of charges. The only way I can get frenzy charges is my Doter's Elixir. But you'll see, when I pop the flask, I have 20 charges. It lights up like Christmas lights. When I get 4 endurance charges, which is how I took the Bandits, I took Oak, Eramir for the skill point, and then Oak again for the endurance charge. So I have 4 endurance charges now. Let's take a look at my energy shield per second, and it's 148. When I pop Enduring Cry, it goes to 504 for like a second and a half. And that's like a mini VoD discipline, and it helps deplete when I take, you know, large hits of damage. As far as healing goes, I have debated whether or not I want to put Life Leech in the 5 link. I'm not so sure just yet, but it is possible. But I'm using a Panicked Eternal Life Flask of Staunching. Now you ask, why would you use that? Well, it does very good healing per second when I actually just need something like a hot. If I'm only going to run 1 health flask, it's better to have something that has 2 functions. Like when I'm really low, it instant heals me, and when I just need to top myself off or get, you know, from halfway to full, it'll do the heal over time. So I really like that. In addition, it, you know, keeps the bleeds off of me as it's healing over time, as it's doing the heal over time. Sorry. So I think this is a great choice if you're only going to run 1 flask. We have a ample Quicksilver of Heat, you know, for Chilled Ground to be irrelevant, you know, for those crazy freezing tempests. Then we have a Surgeon Quicksilver of Warding. You know, I'm all about, you know, using that rolling curse immunity so that we can keep ourselves safe against, you know, vulnerability or Assassin's Mark or any kind of elemental curse. And as for the Surgeon Granite Skin of Iron, or Granite Flask of Iron Skin, this is a very great flask because it gives me armor. And since I don't have acrobatics, it does give me quite a bit of physical damage reduction. 65-40 armor, and then let's pick up some endurance charges again. And we can go through. I use Vol Storm Call kind of like as a way to shock mobs and get like a little energy boost. We are at a, let's get some charges going. I heard an orb, okay. Alright, so we're at about a 23k GMP freeze pulse. We will be able to get this to about 50k pretty easily. You know, when I get Doomcast and other crit nodes and more jewels and better jewels. Let's go back to town. For bosses that are very, very tanky, I like to switch out slower proj for GMP. This allows me to focus fire, perma-freeze, and, you know, really hone in on that potential freeze pulse damage and CC. It's very, very good. Always keep it around if I'm fighting something sketchy like a Beyond boss or an Exile that I just want to perma-freeze. But face breakers are used because we have crit multi on it, and that's pretty much it aside from the base evasion energy shield. They're really easy to color, very flexible. We've gone over those links. Freeze pulse is layered with cold penetration, greater multiple projectiles, increased critical damage, and spell echo. If I were to put life leech in, it would probably replace crit damage. I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know that the need is there, but if I feel like I need it, I will switch to it. Herald of Ice is by itself. Arctic Armor is by itself. I don't really like having it on the shield because if I switch to slower proj, then I have to recast Arctic Armor. And then we have also Innervate. Then we have Arctic Breath, Greater Multiple Projectiles, Cast when damage taken, and Blind. This is another factor that helps me CC and blind targets so that I take, you know, less incoming hits. And I will get the evasion rating to about 5k. If I can get Grace running, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like an 8k evasion rating with, you know, 5 point something k life and about 2k energy shield. Yeah, that's pretty much the update. As far as the tree goes, we hit the Eldritch Battery, Mind Over Matter, Zealot's Oath trigger at level 71. Basically, I used the 2 nodes that I had into Deep Thoughts while leveling, and I used that for Zealot's Oath and Mind Over Matter. And then I had all this whole skeleton filled out, minus the most recent jewel slots over here, and then we just kind of like waited till we were here, got 1 more point, put in an Eldritch Battery, unspec'd out of Deep Thoughts and that mana node, plugged these back in, and I was ready to go. The itemization is very unique because I don't need anything with mana or mana regen. So that's a suffix and a prefix that, you know, you can completely ignore. It has no benefit to you. So with the purity of elements, I looked for specifically life, energy shield, and chaos res. And, you know, I was able to get stuff for so cheap because, you know, most of these items aren't very desirable for a lot of players, especially if they're doing the classic Mind Over Matter with mana regen. This allows, I can run half regen, no regen, because my energy shield will just always refill very fast. And as far as this necklace, I probably will YOLO exalt it at some time, but the implicit stats, I mean, I don't really struggle on any of them. I'm doing pretty good. 156 strength, 144 dex, and we're in very good position. But I'm gonna finish this video with some gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to check out the stream when I go live. You can ask them there, or you can ask them in this YouTube comments below. I'll link the previous videos, the beta video that we did with Freeze Pulse. It's very similar, and I'm just kind of mimicking that and changing a few things here and there defensively and kind of filling it out. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.